Most vampire movies make immortality look cool, but Interview with a Vampire proves it is actually a slow, never-ending punishment that eats you alive from the inside. This movie did not just change vampire cinema, it rewrote what being a vampire even means. Today we are breaking down the full plot of Interview with a Vampire, but more importantly, we are exposing the dark vampire origins hidden inside this story. Guilt instead of glory, loneliness instead of power, an immortality that feels more like a prison than a gift. By the end of this video, you will never see vampires the same way again. The story begins in modern-day San Francisco. A reporter named Daniel Malloy sits across from a man who claims he is a vampire. At first, it sounds like a joke or a stunt, but the man, Louis de Pointe, is calm, tired, and broken in a way that feels too real to fake. Louis is not here to impress anyone. He is here to confess. As the tape recorder rolls, Louis begins his story, taking us all the way back to the year 1791, to the swamps and plantations of Louisiana, a place soaked in heat, blood, and grief. Before he was a vampire, Louis was a wealthy plantation owner. He had money, land, and power, but none of it mattered anymore. His wife and unborn child had died, and Louis was hollowed out by loss. He walked through life like a ghost already, drinking, fighting, and begging for something to end the pain. That is when Lestat found him. Lestat de Lioncourt does not creep out of the shadows like a monster. He steps into Louis' life like temptation itself. Charming, confident, dangerous. Lestat sees Louis' weakness immediately. He does not force him. He offers him something worse, escape. Louis accepts. In a brutal, intimate moment, Louis dies and is reborn as a vampire. But the truth hits fast. Vampirism is not freedom. It is hunger. It is killing, and Louis cannot do it. While Lestat hunts humans without guilt, Louis refuses to kill and survives on animal blood. This disgusts Lestat. To him, vampires exist to feed, dominate, and enjoy eternity. Louis believes immortality should mean something more. That difference tears them apart. During a plague outbreak in New Orleans, Louis feeds on a dying little girl named Claudia. Lestat sees an opportunity. To trap Louis emotionally, he turns Claudia into a vampire. This is the cruelest act in the entire film. Claudia survives forever, but only as a child. At first, they are a strange family. Louis loves her like a daughter. Lestat trains her like a weapon. Years pass, decades pass. Claudia grows smarter, sharper, and angrier. She realizes the truth. She will never grow up, never love, never escape the body of a child. And Lestat did this to her on purpose. Claudia wants revenge. She poisons Lestat with dead blood and slits his throat. Louis helps dispose of the body, believing it is finally over. But evil is hard to kill. Lestat survives, feeding on swamp creatures, and returns broken and furious. In the final confrontation, Louis sets him on fire, burning down part of New Orleans to escape. Louis and Claudia flee to Europe, searching for others like them, hoping to finally belong. In Paris, they find vampires hiding in plain sight. The Théâtre des Vampires performs fake horror shows for humans, but the blood is real. These vampires do not hide what they are. They mock humans. They punish weakness. Their leader, Armand, is calm, ancient, and terrifying in a quiet way. Louis is drawn to Armand, believing he might finally understand what it means to be a vampire without losing his soul. But Claudia is no longer safe. The Paris vampires discover the truth about Lestat murder. Their punishment is slow and cruel. Louis is locked inside a coffin to starve in darkness. Claudia and her new companion Madeleine are trapped in sunlight. They burn to ash. Armand does nothing to stop it. Louis survives, but something inside him dies forever. In revenge, Louis burns the theatre at sunrise, killing the entire coven. But revenge does not heal him. Decades pass. Louis wanders the world alone. Immortality stretches on with no meaning, no family, no peace. In 1988, he returns to New Orleans and finds Lestat again. Weak, decayed, living on rat blood. Lestat is no longer arrogant. He is regretful. He asks Louis to stay. Louis walks away. Back in San Francisco, Louis finishes his interview. The reporter, instead of learning the lesson, begs to be turned into a vampire. Louis snaps. He attacks him, furious that anyone could want this curse. But the story is not done. Lestat appears one last time. He feeds on the reporter and offers him the choice Lestat never had, whether to become a vampire. The car speeds into the night, laughing. Interview with a Vampire asks a terrifying question. What if immortality does not make you powerful, but instead forces you to live forever with every mistake you ever made? Through Louis, the film shows vampires as emotional prisoners. Through Lestat, it shows what happens when you stop caring. And through Claudia, it shows the true horror of eternal life without choice. This is not a story about monsters. It is a story about consequences. The real horror is not blood or fangs. It is time, endless time, watching everyone you love die while you remain unchanged. That is the true vampire origin this movie gives us. Interview with a Vampire redefined vampires as tragic figures instead of heroes. It stripped away the fantasy and exposed immortality as a curse soaked in guilt, loneliness, and regret. This is why the movie still haunts people decades later. Watch the next video on screen now to see how Queen of the Damned Akasha shaped the Vampire Chronicles.